You can call her Mayhem or Mayday. Talk shit, she at your head. I ain't talking bald face. She don't fuck with baby daddies, fucking up the feng shui. Taking care of 4 kids, Sunday to Sunday. Fly year and round.
And hello. And welcome back to another episode of Mayday Mayhem Podcast. I am your host, Mayday Mayhem M. And today, we're going to start off with a little news report to let you know what our podcast is going to be about today.
Investigates update on the unsolved case of Jelani Day. It has been 2 years since Day, a graduate student at Illinois State University, disappeared and was later found dead in the Illinois River. The coroner said the cause of death was drowning, but the manner of death, homicide, suicide, or accident, remains undetermined. Today, his mother shares new information on what she believes are crucial clues to solving her son's case. Here's Alex Maragos.
I want them to find out what happened to Jelani.
On August 24th, 2021, Jelani Day got to campus early for an important class in speech pathology. His mother, Carmen, says security video shows him looking at his phone and then suddenly leaving campus.
I watched that video of Jelani walking around campus. Jelani is on his phone. I was trying myself to see what numbers Jelani was punching in his phone. He stands there, he's punching the code in.
Investigators discovered Jelani's cell months after his death on the side of a highway. Everyone thought this was a big break in the case, but investigators acknowledged they had not cracked the code to the phone until Carmen alerted detectives in April of this year about what she saw on the video.
They worked on it, and within a matter of 10 days, Jelani's phone was unlocked.
But Carmen says investigators told her there was no substantive information on the phone. In this written statement from the Peru Police Department, they say, quote, "The investigation into the death of Jelani Day remains open. The task force continues to solicit tips," unquote. Today, Carmen posted to her Justice for Jelani Facebook page these photos of what she says are shoe prints found at the scene where Jelani's body was discovered.
Why is it not a murder investigation? We all know that, according to them, Jelani didn't have on any shoes. So the shoe prints can't belong to Jelani.
In these purported emails exchanged between Peru Police Chief Sarah Raymond and Carmen, also posted on her Facebook page, Chief Raymond responds, quote, "There is not evidence to suggest that anyone was with Jelani or around where the body was found," unquote.
All I want to know is what happened to my son. All I want is the help. But until I find out what happened to him, I'm not going anywhere.
Our thanks to Alex Maragos. Now, police tell us they have not received any recent tips concerning Jelani Day's death investigation. If you'd like to know more about Jelani Day, you can watch Season 2 of Scene of the Crime on Peacock and other streaming services.
Thank you very much. And that's courtesy to, what's that, ABC News. Now, as you heard, it was footprints around Jelani's body, but how did we get here? Now, that was 2 years ago. We are now coming up on 4 years that the mystery of Jelani Day has not been solved. Now, if you do recall, this was around the same time that Gabby Petito came up missing and was later found to be unalived by her then boyfriend. But it was a whole nationwide search for her. Like during that time, if I'm not mistaken, please tell me in the comments below if I'm wrong. They found between 8 to 9 or 6 to 9 different missing people that were missing during the Gabby Petito search. And not a word was heard about Jelani Day, and that happened during the same time. Like, I was literally watching Netflix. Y'all know I'm a Netflix queen. Y'all know it. But there was nothing done about Jelani. I have seen Netflix put on specials about Gabby Petito, which again, my condolences go out to that family, but there has been not one Netflix special on Jelani Day. And we want to get into what happened to him. But first, we need to know who Jelani Day was. Now, Jelani Day was a 25-year-old grad student That was at Illinois State University, which is located in Bloomington, Illinois, which a lot of you don't know is in the southern part of Illinois, which some of you may not know, which I've done a story on this before on the Mayday Mayhem podcast, which you can also check it out on all other streaming platforms. It's been considered a sundown town. If you don't know what a sundown town is, that is a place where people of my complexion and others are not allowed there and may be harassed or harmed if there. So, Jelani was going there for speech pathology, which is also a form of medicine. He was a grad student, so he had went through high school, college, grad school now. So this is about his like 6th year in college. He's 25 years old. Something happened on this one particular day where on August 24th, Jelani went missing. Now, allegedly on that day, he was supposed to have a meeting with his counselor. Okay, and we're going to get to some news articles later on that, but now we just want to cover the bases. He was supposed to have a meeting with his counselor at around 7 a.m. Now, usually, you go to college, you have meetings with your counselors, at certain times, designated times, go over your routine, again, the academics and all this good stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So he was going to speak with his counselor. And at first there were reports that, oh, Jelani didn't show up. He wasn't there. Oh, no. But then there was photos of him on camera showing up there in a bluish, maybe tealish shirt, black slacks, and shoes, looking like as though he's going to see a counselor. And also he had a receipt for a Starbucks, a cup of coffee, which was only tracked down by his mother. As you can see, his mother was doing a lot of advocating for him, and which continues to do advocating for him to this day because his unaliving has not been solved. It was ruled as a drowning. And we're going to also get into that also. But again, he went missing. And the strange part about the whole Jelani Day case is not only how he went missing, but the pieces around how he went missing. There are so many pieces on how he went missing that somebody knows what happened. And somebody doesn't want to say anything because if they say something, they're going to be involved, allegedly. We got to say that here, ain't nobody trying to get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Got my little lucky little bookaboo, whatever, this little thing my kids bought. I like it, but we're going to keep it right here. But anyway, he showed up allegedly he didn't show up, the counselor said, but we see him on camera. Then he allegedly goes to a smoke shop, Beyond Hello. That was a dispensary. Here in Illinois, for the listeners that don't know, here in Illinois, cannabis is legal. Marijuana is legal. Delta 8 is legal. It's legal here. It's used for medicinal use and recreational use. I myself use it for medicinal use. I have fibromyalgia. So again, I have a medical cannabis card. So I'm very familiar with the procedures going in and out of a dispensary, especially during the time when Jelani went into the dispensary, and we about to get into that too. Now, as we can see, we see him going into the school right here. You see him going into the school. Now, allegedly, he wasn't supposed to be at that meeting to see his counselor, but we clearly see he went to that meeting. Like, what student is going to show up somewhere at 7 a.m. that don't have to be there? They're not. Like, I ain't going to show up to somewhere. Look, I'm not going to take my kids to school if they ain't got to be there at 7 a.m. if they ain't got to be there. And I have high school kids that want to be doing 0 hour. So that means that they have to be to school at 6 o'clock in the morning sometimes. And sometimes them had them days when they don't have to be to school until like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. So do you think I'm going to get up out of bed early when I don't have to? No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm not going to do it. I'm not. So what makes you think a 25-year-old adult is going to get up out of class, out of bed, going to school dressed like this? What? No. And then goes to a dispensary dressed like this one. Now, this is a dispensary beyond hello. Now, this is allegedly the dispensary that he goes to at about 9:12, 9:15 a.m. on, we're going to say August 23rd, 24th. Well, he went missing on the 24th. That's the day he went missing. Of course, we have a dispensary, and here in Illinois, this happened August 24th, 2021. Now, anyone that knows during 2020 and 2021, 2022, asked my producer, we was pretty masked up and shot down during that time, wasn't we?
Yes, ma'am.
We was kind of every place we had to go, we either had to show that little mask or we had to show that little card. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying without having to say it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. He goes into the dispensary dressed like this. He then went back to his campus. Now he goes into the dispensary changed like this. And at this time, you had to go into the dispensary. You had to literally have your mask on. And as you can see, he's looking into this camera, and he doesn't have his mask on. And the employee's checking his ID to make sure he's of age. It just looks crazy. It doesn't look. It looks almost as though he has a cry for help. It looks almost as though his eyes are not right, to me. It could be anyone else, just to me. And I've been watching this case for years, and it just doesn't seem right. Even, he doesn't even have his mask on. And during that time, they was really like, yo, mask on, 6 feet. We're not playing. Some places they was like, give us 10. I'm like, man, I give you 15, bro. Just let me get what I need up out of here. Look, my hands is cramping up on me. Look, my carpal tunnel is carpaling, and I need to get some tunneling done. You know, I got to eat, and I need to use my utensils. You know what I'm saying? You know, so yeah. And I was very much in the dispensaries during those days. So again, for him not to have a mask like that, it just looks weird. And then he allegedly only bought one item, which was Delta 8 or Delta 9, which again is I'm sorry, I apologize. That's what was allegedly formed in the toxicology report, Delta 9 in cannabis. They found half-rolled blunt allegedly in his car that was partially smoked. Now that's allegedly what they found in his bloodstream in the toxicology, which I don't understand. What is the point of using CBD when you can when you just walked into a dispensary and bought actual marijuana, actual cannabis. And again, beyond hello, they got into a lot of issues because, as I said and a lot of other people said, they have cameras. There are cameras. Why weren't the cameras, the footage, like they don't even, here in Illinois, the cannabis stores are very, very particular. They don't even want you sticking your hand over the, well, let me look. No, you cannot look. No. Well, I didn't bring my glasses with the bifocals at the bottom. I left them in the car because those are my driving glasses. Can I just see the THC content on the, they'll hold it like this. Or they'll be like, we can try to see it for you, and they be blind themselves. You know what I'm saying? And they know you can't see it. So for them to be that cautious with a product, and again, they're very strict here with their products, for them not to, pick up on something. Again, why would you buy Delta 9, Delta 8, when you can just buy, you just walked into a dispensary. You just literally walked into a dispensary. That makes no sense. So allegedly that was found in his system. But the key moments that we have here is that allegedly he went missing. Now, when the story first broke, his counselor had allegedly put him out missing. It was his counselor that allegedly said, oh my gosh, Jelani didn't come to class. That's just not like him. Now look, I done been 25 before. I done been 26 and I done been 24 a few times, okay? I done gave me some weed and maybe I was supposed to be in class and I wasn't there, I was in class and I might have been throwing some hee-haw, I was being an ass, I'm just saying. How we know he didn't go get him a little weed and, get him a little thing and, you interrupted my you dig, you know what I'm saying? He might have had him a little stash bag. And if you don't know what a stash bag is, that's what this is right here. He might have went and got him a little stash bag, you know what I'm saying? Might have had him a little something up in there. You might have been interrupting something. Oh my gosh, it's just not like him. And then all of a sudden, the mom had to come down and find out, wait, what's going on? She just talked to her son. It's not like her son to not, talk to her. She talks to him every day. She has a close relationship with him. Then come to find out, she gets down there and reports him missing. Like he really is missing. His car is missing. And he had a very nice car. Are we able to pull up the picture of his car? I believe it was a Chrysler 300. He literally has a very nice car. They found that car later on. Like literally later on. This is a nice car. Again, and this was his pride and joy. Now, what 25-year-old is not going to take care of this car? I know none. I know absolutely none. Now, again, this car was last seen at this dispensary at around 9:15 a.m. And again, there are so many cameras around the area. It's mind-boggling that his mother had to find other surveillance cameras along the route where he was, that found out that his car was on another route that was during Thursday, August 26, 2021 at 4:20 p.m. That's how she was able to see that his car was literally somewhere else. And they found his car in the brush, off in the field somewhere, like right off the road, to be hidden so it wouldn't be found when it literally was found, which is insanity to me. So literally what happened? And again, Beyond Hello, they got a lot of criticism because everyone knew that they had cameras. Like, this place was massive. The photos that you saw earlier, you could go to Google Maps and look them up just like I did. Those photos I looked them up back in 2021. Like, those photos was easily accessible. And again, you can see in the post, in late August at the Bloomington Police Department, request access to the video relevant to Jelani Day visit to Beyond Hello, which contained the full video footage of Jelani exiting our store, entering the parking lot, and departing from the location in his car. The Bloomington Police Department is currently in possession of the full video footage showing Jelani leaving the premises. We continue to fully cooperate with the Bloomington Police Department and have reached out to Jelani's family to offer to provide them with the video in our possession at this time. Our deepest condolences go out to the Day family, and we hope for justice for Jelani. Now, the reason they had to pull out that post because there was another post that came out saying that someone at Beyond Hello had something to do with the death of Jelani. That's why they had to come out with that article. That's literally why. But again, it's the death surrounding Jelani that's important that we are losing focus on. This is a 25-year-old young man that lost his life for unknown reasons. Again, when we look at the timeline, he was last seen in his vehicle in August of 2024. August 24th. The vehicle was found August 26th. And his body was found September 4th. But the body was not able to be identified for 19 days later because they had to use DNA and dental to identify his body because allegedly it was so decomposed. But this is where it may get graphic. And I will say viewer discretion would be advised on what the autopsy did prove for his we're not going to really get that deep, but let's just say there's no way wildlife would have done that to a body. Okay? It pretty much was a cadaver. You can literally look up the autopsy on Google. It was something very gruesome. It was something that it was not something that was done biologically. And they said that this man died from a drowning. But he was an advocate swimmer. Then they said maybe it was an unaliving of himself. Maybe he was depressed about school, but he was an honor student. He was an honor student. Or maybe he was depressed about financial. He had scholarships and everything was paid for. They had all these reasons on why Jelani could have ended his life, but none of this was substantial. None of it could stand or hold water. Then again, they said, well, he drowned, but he was an advocate swimmer. Even his family has said that he swam as a form of exercise, which I don't know. Can you swim?
Yeah, I float.
I can do the float. That's about it. And the only exercise I know how to do is run from here to the kitchen. So I believe Jelani was in very good shape. Very, very good shape. Better shape than me, and I know my producer is in better shape than me. So I think he probably was in better shape than me and the producer. I'm pretty sure of that. So there's no way this young man literally drowned. Now, allegedly, his body was found on September 4th in the Illinois River near Peru. Now, let's not forget his car was found in a whole different part. It wasn't found in Bloomington, and his wallet was found, 2.5 miles away? The body was found, his body was found September 4th in the Illinois River. The 25-year-old State University graduate had been reported missing since August 25th, and his vehicle had been located August 26th in a wooded area in Peru. Now you see how it say reported August 25th, and how we go back last seen August 24th, and how he was reported went missing on August 24th. There's something going on, I believe, allegedly in my conspiracy theory mind. Something is going on at that school. And I don't know what. I have no clue. But it's something, like, because this makes absolutely no sense. Allegedly. Because don't y'all come for me. I ain't got no money. I'm telling you now, I ain't got no money yet. I ain't got no money. But if you come for me, I'm going to take your money. I ain't got no money. I'm just saying, because something ain't right. If you can tell me what really happened to this young man, I'll leave you alone. But something, no, absolutely no. Now, we have this article from the Normal Weekly. An Illinois State University faculty member was the first one to sound the alarm on the graduate student Jelani JJ disappearance. Now, here's the news article. A faculty member was the first one to sound the alarm on Jelani Day's disappearance. Director of Clinical Education, Clara Boster, said she texted Day Monday night about his coursework, but that's the last time she heard from him. He was actually supposed to come see me the next morning, Boster said. When he didn't show up, I texted to see what was going on, and he didn't answer me. I knew he had class at 1 p.m., so I waited for him after class, and he didn't show up. So why was he at the school at 7 o'clock in the morning getting coffee and dressed for a meeting? Can y'all answer me that? That's weird. That's weird. That is not all. That's something our grad students would do. How do you know what this boy would do? How does she know what this 25-year-old man would do? This is Day's first semester of grad school in communication science and disorder department at ISU, where Booster is the program director. She reported him missing to the police. Now authorities are continuing to search for the ISU graduate student and Bloomington resident. A big development came Thursday afternoon when police in LaSalle County of Peru found Day's car, a white 2010 Chrysler 300, hidden in a wooden area. Now, how does that sound to y'all? Does that not sound weird? Why is this teacher worried about a student? Why are you so worried about him?
Mayday, mayhem, mayday, mayhem, mayday, mayhem, mayday, mayhem, mayday,
about Clara. Now, Clara, she's because I had to look up what she was. Now, she graduated from Michigan State in 1998 with a master's degree in 1998 and a bachelor's degree in 1996 in speech language pathology. She earned her first bachelor's degree in McMurray in 1995 in deaf education prior to joining Illinois State University. Clara was a speech pathologist in high school at Illinois School of Deaf. She then moved to Bloomington, Illinois, and worked at Unit School treating elementary and high school students. Her interests and areas are deaf. Okay, so she's in the same clinical thing that he needs to be in. So why are you, again, reporting him missing? That's just a little thing on Clara. Like, what's, okay, let's see a little background on you, okay? So you've been doing pathology since 98. So you got a little background. Okay, so you're a normal teacher. But what is so with him that he just is capturing your mind? Blooming police are working closely with ISU and Peru police to track down Day, who was last seen on campus in a Bone student career Tuesday, according to the police. According to a photo released by Bloomington police Friday afternoon. It's unusual, Bloomington police spokesman John Freeman said. A lot of things that are unfolding just seems unusual. Released that he didn't show up for class. His family has been trying to contact him. This is very concerning. The ISU spokesman Eric Jones said a number of classmates have already begun putting up missing flyers around campus and are helping getting the word out about that. He went missing from a teacher saying he didn't show up for class because she texted him the night before. He didn't show up for allegedly the meeting, but yet he did show up for the meeting. He went and had coffee. We see he have a coffee cup and this. We have surveillance of him. Then you waited for him in class. He didn't come. Then all of a sudden you called a missing person. Why? Why would you call a missing person on somebody because they didn't show up again? Like, he's 25. Like, he might have had him a little young tenderoni, you know, little young thing. He might have, I'm not trying to tell my age, but he might have been trying to back that thing up with some little girl, you know what I'm saying? Or he might have been on one, you know what I'm saying? He might have had a wild night. It happens. And then this is his first semester here. You don't really have a rapport with someone in the first semester. Like, you don't really know them that well. It's the first semester. Like, unless you've had this teacher in the past. But this is his first semester in his first year of graduate school. So you wouldn't really have a rapport with this student like that. You don't know if this kid's a slacker or that's just not like him. I smell something. But they later found Jelani unalive, his body September 4th. But the problem was he couldn't be identified because of the way his remains were decomposed. And they allegedly said it was due to the humidity and wildlife activity. But wildlife doesn't take the face off of people. Wildlife doesn't take the insides of bodies. Wildlife don't do that. If fish don't do that. Not like that. No. Or where he drowned. We found no signs of foul play. What? He drowned? On what? What? He couldn't have drowned on water, and he couldn't have drowned on air. What did he drown on? Oh, he may have smoked too much weed and fell in the water and he couldn't he couldn't swim. See, that's probably think all black people can't swim. I can't swim, okay? But Jelani could. Okay, Jelani could swim. He was an advocate swimmer. He was a very good swimmer. His whole family could swim. But just because I can't swim, don't mean Jelani couldn't swim, okay? Okay? Not all white people can swim. I done met about 2 or 3 that can't. Okay? And I done met about 6 or 7 black people that can. And Jelani was one of them that could swim. So just because people can swim, okay? Everybody need to learn how to swim. We live on a globe of water. Learn how to swim. I think we all, okay, what color you is, learn how to swim. And just because you can swim don't mean that you drowned. Just like this. He didn't drown. In my personal opinion, allegedly this young man didn't drown. So we being for real. Seriously, he did not drown. I'm just saying none of it makes sense. Now, his mother made him a missing report on August 25th because she had to come down and find out. Let's not forget, if I'm not mistaken, they're from Danville. They don't even know anyone from Peru. So they couldn't even understand why his car was found near Peru, and why his body was found in the Illinois River by Peru. It took so long for them to identify his remains because the remains were so badly decomposed. His remains weren't properly identified until September 24, 2021. They weren't properly identified till then. Are you for real? But let's not forget again, my heart goes out to the Petito family and all the other families that have been lost and forgotten. But none of this was given for Jelani and his family. None of it. And I think it's insanity that we still don't know what happened to Jelani Day, but we know what happened to Gabby Petito, her boyfriend, how he had left the letter, how they found the backpack in the Everglades, how his mom and daddy knew, and how the stuff was sold out the, what do you call that? The storage? Is that what you call the place where you store stuff, whatever? A storage apartment. How the stuff was sold out the storage apartment. How they made a Netflix documentary about it. How she's called America's sweetheart. And we know about all of that about Gabby Petito, but we know only a glimpse of Jelani Day's life. And I think that needs to change. Because Jelani Day, again, he was not the only person to go missing in Bloomington. There were other people to go missing. And still missing to this day. And we don't know what happened to them. We don't know. Or they were deceased and it's just been, we're going to say it's unaliving of themselves, or they drowned because they were by a half a puddle of water, or they drowned. It's alarming that honestly this is the world we live in, and again, nothing has been done. We still don't know what happened to Jelani. So, again, and let's not forget, everyone thought the FBI was going, the FBI never got involved. You do know that, right? The FBI never got involved. No, the FBI never got involved. The only way we found pieces of Jelani's phone and his coordinates was by his mother, his family, other internet sleuths like myself and others, trying to piece things together to figure out where, how, where was they going. That's the only way. That's literally the only way that we got as much information as we did The family had to do it. And that has to change. It has to be some type of camaraderie where there's not a difference, where someone is missing. So now, allegedly, we have a Jelani Day, I believe it's a Jelani Day legacy. I'm sorry, Jelani Day law. Take that back, a Jelani Day law. And this law is a law to the Illinois Missing Person Identification Act that will require the FBI to be involved in missing person cases if remains are not identified within 72 hours. Jelani Day will forever ring the halls of the judicial system as a reminder of what did not take place for his own case. And this was as of February 11, 2025. So again, his remains stayed inside of a container, unpreserved the correct way, for well over 72 hours. It was like 19 days, almost close to a month. And all the FBI had to do was just step in and say, let us take a look, let us do this real quick, boo, 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 boo. And it would have been properly done and over with, but they refused to. So now this law has been enacted. Again, that was as of February 11, 2025. So we have some way of remembering Jelani, but the only way we can ever really remember Jelani is to find out what actually happened to Jelani. So I always keep him in my prayers. This case is one that really stuck with me and has continued to stick with me because, as I was telling my producer, oh no, these photos that I have are from 2021 when it first happened. And I have just been trying to keep up with to figure out why haven't they solved that case, and will they ever open that case up to find out what really happened to Jelani. So I'm going to keep that hope in my heart and in my mind that they do open that case up and we do really find out what happened to Jelani, because as we see, this is the year of grand things happening and new horizons opening. So maybe we can find out what really happened to Jelani and bring solitude and peace to his family, so they can have some commerce to their heart of what happened to their loved ones. So we will be ending this podcast for today. If no one told you they love you, I do. I truly, truly do. Make sure you do better today than you did yesterday and strive for a better tomorrow today. And I will see you next time for the Mayday Mayhem podcast. And I'll holler at y'all later. Ew.
You can call her Mayhem or Mayday. Talk shit, she at your head. I ain't talking bald face. She don't fuck with baby daddies, fucking up the feng shui. Taking care of 4 kids, Sunday to Sunday.